Welcome back to my podcast. I think I'm going to call this the Life Psychology Podcast. Life psychology doesn't actually exist. I don't think so. But I think it's a good representation of the things that I talk about or the things that I like talking about, which is overall just like life in general. So we're going to call this podcast the Life Psychology Podcast. Yes, but today I did want to talk about like mind shifts that I have been trying to implement into my daily routine in order to keep productivity going and to lock in. And as everybody already knows, September, October, November, December, or I guess the 3-month arc, which is October, November, December, that is usually the time to really lock in on how you can make as much change as you can for the next year, for 2026. And these are some of the things that I kind of wrote in my notes app as things that I kind of repeat to myself if I'm feeling confused, if I'm feeling low in motivation, if I'm feeling a little bit lost or anything like that. These are the things that helps put myself back on track and helps me realize how important it is to stay on track with your goals and to not lose focus. And let's get started. So the first thing that I tell myself is that there's no one coming to save you besides yourself. And I think this is very important when you are very codependent. If you have codependency tendencies, it's very important to learn how to isolate yourself, not to self-isolate when you're in needing of help and when you feel like you're in danger to yourself, but to learn how to isolate yourself from everybody else when you are in that season of your life that when you need to lock in. And a lot of people are not able to do that because they're afraid of the feeling of loneliness. And I think not that it does any damage if you're not able to isolate yourself or if you don't have the confidence to, but I think that there's a lot more benefits to it than harm. And so I highly recommend learning how to enjoy your own company, learning how to be alone with your own thoughts, learning how to hear yourself out and try to understand those thoughts and those feelings that come up when you're alone. I think those are very, very important when you're trying to make as much growth as you can and really squeeze or really lock into building your dream life. Second, your only competition is your self-doubt, and I'm going to add in here fear. I guess the only thing that's stopping you is fear and self-doubt. And I think this is something that I personally have to really work on, just because not that I have a lot of self-doubt, but I think I stay complacent where I am because I'm afraid of the change, I'm afraid of the risk, and I'm afraid of losing some things. Because every time you make a decision, you are either losing something and gaining something, and there's no way out of it. There's no best choice, it's just whatever is your priority at that moment, and then you make that choice, and it feels like it's the better choice, but nothing really is the best choice. It's just losing and gaining, and that's the kind of gamble of life. And that's something that I really had to learn for myself, is that I can't be afraid of losing things in order for me to live a life that I dream of. And yeah, hard truth. Next, take ownership of your life and everything else around you. This one, I actually learned this from someone who's very, very special to me. I think this person has taught me a lot as I am developing in my 20s. But this concept of ownership is actually, I learned from him, and I think he got it from like the male podcasters, and it's just really like kind of woke me up in a different sense and made me look at life in a different sense. Basically, taking ownership is just not putting the blame on someone else, but not putting the blame on yourself in a harmful way. And I think it's a very fine line that you're walking if you're not able to healthily take accountable for the things that are happening in your life. then I don't think this is something that you should kind of have fun with. But if you do have the discipline, if you do have, I guess, the confidence to take ownership of all of, I guess, the obstacles or the challenges that comes your way, then I think you are kind of really in a good track. Because when you're able to do that, when you're able to feel confident in your mistakes and feel confident that you'll learn from it, and you will make the most out of it, and that's like a stepping stone to even becoming a better person, then there's a lot more waiting for you down the line. But when you're not able to do that, I think that you get held back a lot by the fact that the shame and the guilt of making mistakes. But when you can confidently say, hey, I made a mistake on this is on me, I think that says a lot more about your character, and it gives you a lot more room to improve on yourself, rather than wasting time blaming other people for the things that happen. Like, pretend you're burnt out at work because this person is not one of your clients is giving you a hard time. Instead of blaming that client, you should take that onto yourself. Like, what am I doing wrong, and why is it not working with me and this client? Is there something that I can improve on? Maybe the way that I lead the conversations, maybe the way that I hear them out, maybe like I don't give them the space to be open and vulnerable about what they're going through, so I can fully give the services that I intend to give. It's finding ways to improve yourself rather than finding ways to make yourself fit in a wrong situation, if that makes sense. So instead of looking outwardly for solutions, you look inward, and as a result of that, there's so much improvement, because not only are you working on a solution to help others, you're also working on traits of yourself to improve on, and that's, I guess, like a plus. Take ownership of everything else around you, I guess. I always say I guess. I should stop saying I guess. Anyway, okay. Fourth, I think this is something that everybody else already knows, but the gym will teach you discipline. If you don't go to the gym already, or if you don't have a set workout routine, I highly recommend that you build something that's curated towards your own lifestyle, because training your body is also congruent to training your mind. And when you are able to show up at the same place at the same time every single day, that teaches you so much discipline. And this is something that's really good to pass on to your kids as well. Like, just the art of having to do something even if you don't want to, even if you don't have the motivation. That is discipline. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline is something that you've built over time, and it's something intrinsically within you already. It's not something that will go away just because you're feeling unmotivated today, right? Like, if you've been going to the gym for years, I applaud you. I've tried going for so many years. I just never found the right fit for me, the right workout routine, the right place, the right gym. But that's what I'm working on right now. So if you've been going to the gym for as many years as you can, I envy you and props to you, because it's not very easy for everybody else. And I don't know, I just really admire those people who consistently go to the gym and have their own workout routine. It's not also like just to build a certain physique. It's also you're training your mind to quiet the noise, and it's your own little meditation, if people see it that way. But yeah, going to the gym will teach you discipline. If you don't know how to get started, go to the gym. Just throw yourself in the pack of wolves and you'll get it. Just like how the way I'm learning how to swim is just making myself drown, and hopefully I eventually learn how to swim. Anyway, I don't think that was a good advice. Okay. Next, becoming your highest self comes from taking care of your health and not from buying expensive products. So this is this hits home for me, because like I mentioned, I think when I first started earning my big girl money from my full-time job after college, I got lost in the sauce and I started buying a lot of things, and I experienced lifestyle inflation. So Yes, that's something I want to talk about in another video. It's like how to take care of your money if you started, earning your big girl money. And I think I've learned a lot from my own mistakes, so I kind of want to share that, but maybe in another video. But you don't become your highest self by buying high-end products. And I think it's very hard to wrap yourself around that, because you would think more expensive products will give you a higher quality lifestyle, but it doesn't. It's not about the expensive skincare products that you use. It's not about the expensive like the red light therapy machine that you use at home. It's not about that. It's about eating whole foods, drinking lots of water, waking up at the same times, getting enough sleep, getting your sweat in, you're moving for the day, and that's how you become that's how you that's how you become your best self, the best self that you can be confident in. Whether it's like, it doesn't matter if you have a little bit fat in here and there. I think that when you take care of your health, and it's the most organic and the most natural way to glow. It's not about how many products you have in your skincare routine. It's not about what vitamins you're taking. It's just the basic stuff. The most simple thing you can do in life is just to take care of your health. And unfortunately, in this economy, in this country that we live in, that's not the agenda of many of the providers that like serve us food and like products and stuff like that. This is a monopoly. This is a business for them. And so whatever gets you to purchase these things, that's what's going to make them the most money. And it doesn't matter. They don't have your best interest. They have the best interest of your money. And so just try to look up these videos about like non-toxic or like healthier alternatives. And I think you'll learn so much about what is really going on once you get yourself out of that bubble as a consumer of products. So yes, hard truth is that it's not about the expensive stuff. It's not about having Chanel. It's not about having Balenciaga or Bottega. It's about taking care of yourself so that you are fit and confident and you're shredded and you're a queen, Okay. I think that ties in very well with the gym, going to the gym. So yeah. All right. This is a really nice advice. You can envision yourself as blank, whatever it is that you dream of, because it is one of your paths in life. And this is something really nice to hear if you're someone who have a lot of self-doubt, because sometimes we try to belittle ourselves as much as we can because we're in the wrong environment. I once saw this video on Instagram where it's like, it's not you who hold on, I can't remember it very well anymore. But basically the sum of that video is saying that your environment, if you choose the wrong environment, you are not going to grow because people around you make you feel bad about chasing something grandiose in life. So when you surround yourself with people who like to stay stagnant, who like to live like a robotic lifestyle, who like to be complacent in life, you're not going to grow as well, because those people will judge you when you start chasing after a bigger dream. They will make you feel guilty. They will make you feel excluded. They'll make you feel different and a weirdo and cringe when you start chasing after success. And that is not the kind of environment you want to put yourself in if you know for sure that you have a bigger purpose in life. Let's say you've always wanted to become a doctor, and there's a reason for everything. The reason why that's planted in your head is because the universe has a version of life ready for you. And it's just a matter of getting the work in and making sure that you follow that path and you lock in, and eventually you can. That is a possibility. It's not impossible. First, sometimes you might think that it is impossible because it's such a long journey, but becoming a doctor is not for the weak. Definitely. It's for people who believe in themselves. It's for people who have a really strong desire to live a certain life, to become a certain version of themselves, and people who don't give up on themselves. Yeah, that was everything for that. I think that speaks for itself. I think. Next, privacy protects your peace. I made a video on short about privacy. Not a video, but like it's like just a little snippet of my life, of the things that I've been doing that not a lot of people have kind of seen on my social media. And as I was making that video, it made me realize how much power there is when practicing privacy in life. And I think that people who overshare online, that doesn't necessarily mean, or people who overshare in general with their friends, their family, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're less powerful. Or I guess like the point I'm trying to make with this is that when you have less people knowing your business in life, you have more control over it. I actually met up with a friend the other weekend, and we were just talking about like some like social issues that we're going through. And I realized as I was talking to her that there are too many voices in this topic, and as she was asking me for advice, I felt like I couldn't give her the advice that she's looking for, because the reason why she's so lost and confused about this certain situation is because there's too many voices. There's too many people putting in their advice about this, and sometimes the best solution is to just turn off all of those noise, go to your bedroom, think, go for a drive, think, listen to music, and find the answer yourself. It's not about asking people for help. You know, it is good. I think that's something that I struggle a lot, is like asking people for help. But when you are able to find the answer within yourself besides asking people for advice, I think that's how, first of all, that's how you take ownership and take control of your life. And second of all, that is how you find the most genuine answer, where you're not blaming other people for what happens in your life because you are trying to listen to their advice. You cannot blame anybody for the decisions you're making in life. It doesn't matter if you ask them for advice and that's what they recommended and you followed it. No, like as soon as you choose to listen to their advice and you make that decision and you make that change in your own life, then you're responsible for it. So if you're someone who struggles with people pleasing, I would highly recommend just listening to your own voice. Don't be afraid. I know it's uncomfortable to listen to our own feelings, and it feels like when you have so much self-doubt and so much like fear in life of like being responsible over your own life, and you've been so used to other people helping you, and you're so used to like people pleasing other people, it is very uncomfortable to I guess like to learn how to lead your life with your own voice rather than other people's advice. But with practice, you'll get there, just like with everything else. Next. Ooh, this is a good one. Ask the questions, let others answer. That makes you more likable, and also people like talking about themselves. So this is actually from the book 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. I read that as soon as I got out of college. I had a lot of experimenting done after college. I had so much I was just so lost and confused. I didn't know my own personality. I was just like a blank page when I got out of college. I guess I made college my personality. But after that, I was just gone. Everything that I've tried to build, the identity I've built, gone. And so I read that book, and it gave me so much motivation. I actually don't have a copy myself. I borrowed one of my sister's copy, but I love that book. If you're someone who has always been interested or felt very appealed towards success, power, and money and wealth and stuff like that, I think reading that book will definitely teach you a lot in terms of how to navigate that world of games and business and success. And so I highly recommend that. If you're a softy girl, definitely not for you, because it's very not corrupting, but I would say it's got some essence that's not really aligned with some of the values that I have as a half softy, half hard girl, I guess. I think read the back if you want to learn about the rules. It's just in the back. You can also search it up on YouTube. But anyway, if you're part of a group, or perhaps like you're working and you're taking a break with your coworkers, instead of oversharing, instead of talking about yourself, ask questions to other people and let them take up the entire time to talk about themselves. Because the more you listen to other people, the more you observe other people and the way that they talk, the things going on in their life, the more you learn. But when you're the one doing the talking, you don't necessarily have a lot of learning to do, because you're just sharing and sharing and sharing. And so I think the people who are like mysterious, doesn't talk a lot, the quietest person in the group, I think those people have so much charisma and power, just because they don't have to fill up that noise with their own like life story. It's not about them, it's about other people and how you can learn from them. And I think if you're someone who has had that problem of oversharing, and you feel after the fact you feel uncomfortable about oversharing, just try to ask the questions to other people, and not only will you save yourself the embarrassment, you will also learn from other people's mistakes and embarrassing stories. So ask the questions and then let other people answer. I have been trying to practice how to ask really good questions, and I think I asked really good questions, and people have complimented me in a lot of ways, many times, about like the questions that I asked, like how just like being able to think outside the box and see how this can connect with other people. And like, I don't know, I just love a good question. I love a good question. Okay, next. Oh, this is the last one. Being different keeps you closer to your truest identity. This is for someone who is very into trends, very into consumerism, overconsumption, and this is hard for me because I'm also kind of in that phase right now in my life where I'm consuming so much just because I have this like amount of money that I'm earning per month. But I think as I was going through this entire process of being a consumer, I realized how much I've also lost my sense of style, my sense of identity, personality, and my artistic ways, I would say. Just because trends are meant to make you buy something because other people are using it, right? It's the influencing world, it's social media, it's marketing. And I think as a result of overconsumption, people lose their own styles. And when you get your style from the trends that's on your phone, on your social media, you're just gonna be like everybody else. But when you're different and you are able to control yourself, even when you see a trend, even when you go to work and you see a lot of people wearing Onitsuka Tigers or Sambas, if you know yourself and you keep really close to yourself about the things that you like, then you're different, and you're different. I think you add so much diversity in our population, and I really applaud you, because everybody else looks the same, everybody wears the same thing, and yeah, people need to follow their own trends more often than what social media or influencing or social media influencers try to advertise to you. So yes, try to be as different as you can, and that adds more value into like maybe your group. If your friend group is like very different, everybody has their own styles. One's a cowgirl, one's like a business career girl, one's is like a traveler, like nature not e-girl, what was I gonna say, very granola girl, like that's fun. That is something, that's a group that has a lot of substance, and I want to be part of that group. But if you're in a group of people who think the same, who don't challenge you in good ways, who don't introduce you to different cultures, then I think that you're missing out on a lot of things. And I'm very proud of myself because a lot of my friends, they're all very different. My college friends we're very diverse. Everyone comes from a different cultural background, and it's just always so fun to hang out with them because you learn so many things about the way that they live their life, like their background, the history, their religion, and we all are very dysfunctional when we travel together internationally. That's a fact. But I think it's just so much fun. It's so much better than being around the same people who don't really challenge you in that way or stimulate your mind in conversations. So yeah, try to diversify your environment, and I think that's just very, very chic, I would say. These are the things that I have been doing to kind of teach myself how to become a better version of myself. How can I change some shifts some mindsets, some beliefs that I've had, like how can I improve and train myself to become more successful and set myself up for success and more productivity. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that and that was kind of helpful. I'll be doing more about money and romance and stuff like that, so very, very excited for it. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.